second. Al, I think who works with the Meltzer show.
That's correct.
Now, Al, how could you kick off James from Kentucky? You said he was a dull caller.
Exactly.
Well, what do you want him to do?
Tell
jokes?
Be less dull. No, not tell jokes, but contribute something positive to the show, which he does not. And being called Dynamite Dave just kind of doesn't work. We've gotten more complaints about James in Kentucky and another caller, Alex in Puerto Rico, than I care to mention.
Well, this is the advice portion of my gossip program.
Okay.
And so I try to advise James, and I hope that by the next time he calls, he will have gotten a job. And he's come to the conclusion that he has to leave his hometown. I think that's progress. That's not easy to realize, is it, James?
No, it's not. And is this the phone caller?
I'm the phone screener, producer. I'm the jack of all trades for the show, James.
He is. That is Al is the person who told you can't talk to the Dave Meltzer show until you get a job, put in your $1,400, and join that wrestling association.
Well, I call there to talk to the superstars, not to act like a fool.
You mean
which they think I am.
They don't think you're a fool. You do not think he's a fool, Al.
No.
He's not a fool.
How about let me call in today and I'll ask a simple question?
Because Dave has specifically told me not to have you on the show anymore, so I kind of have to listen to what the host says, you know.
Now, listen.
But you tell Dave this means war then.
War as opposed to what, James? I know that you used to be a caller on WCW Live and they hated you on there too. So.
No, they didn't.
Well, yes, they did. Trust me.
They called
by the way, James, mentioning Ohio Valley Wrestling, if you want to go and work down there, I would try and talk to Jim Cornette as best you can, because those guys down there, I mean, they could use some people. They could use guys like you. They could use your help. Helping out on the show.
You obviously love wrestling, and I think you should try and pursue that. And what I think Al is trying to say, James, is they want you to work on your job and your life a little bit. You're just young. You're just starting out. These guys are older and they've already pursued work a bit. So, I know it's hard to leave he only lives in a town of 1,000 people. Wow. And it must be hard to face the fact that you might have to leave your parents and,
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, but you've come to that conclusion and that's a big step. So why don't you call your uncle and see if he can try to find a job for you in Louisville.
Yeah. Well, and I also got something to say about the Dave Meltzer show.
Okay.
I start calling because I heard about these big name wrestlers that was calling.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait. Don't insult. Wait.
Dave Meltzer.
I know. And I think that they're just trying to encourage you in their own rough, macho way, that they want you to get a little bit more of a life.
In their own testosterone
it's called freedom of speech.
Well, I understand it's freedom of speech, James, but when I got 50 people emailing me telling me that you're horrible, I have to, worry about the content of the show. And if you're bringing the content of the show down, then I don't want you on.
Men are so mean. Men are mean.
And I got to say one thing, Joanna. I think right now he's bringing the content of our show up.
I think you're right about that. Now, James.
People like that takes away the right to get on there and talk about wrestling stuff gives a bad name to wrestling.
Well, I think that's why you need to give a good name to wrestling, and I think you need to go become a wrestler or work for the Wrestling Federation or something. Okay,
Miss Malloy.
Yes.
Can I just say something else?
Please.
He said I was such a bad caller for WCW Live.
Yes.
Every wrestler I talked to on there, even if they laughed about me or something, they know who I was though, and I know Jeff Jarrett and all of them.
Well, I think that I believe you 100%, and we just want you to get your life together and get on the right path. Okay?
Yeah, and it really hurts down deep inside that somebody take away a privilege like that.
You know what, James? You don't need that show right now. What you need is to focus on your own life. You don't want to be thinking so much about superstars and other wrestlers and stuff. That's the problem with this country, is that there's only like like 1,000 royalty, 1,000 celebrities who are either actors or sports people, and everybody is just staring at them and watching their lives and living vicariously through them, whereas you should get your own life and try as hard as you can to get the pleasure out of your own work and your own family.
Yes, before I go, could I just ask this man something else?
He went to ask permission of Dave Meltzer if he could go to the bathroom.
Oh, I just wanted to ask him, does he know Vince McMahon?
I don't think Al knows Vince McMahon personally, no.
Because I keep on calling his office,
Mm-hmm.
and he don't return the call or nothing.
Now, come on, James. I know you live in East Ashtray, Kentucky, but don't you think that Vince McMahon is a little bit busy? He's busy.
Why? He done lost XFL.
You think he's just sitting around in shorts watching MacGyver reruns?
And fixing to have run WCW down the tubes when he relaunches it.
Now, Mickey Alla, by the way, says, can you remind James that one of our very nice lady listeners says that Al just gave you a good tip for wrestling in that Ohio Federation. He gave you a name. Did you write down that name that he told you about? Al,
I couldn't hear him.
Al, what was that name? Was this a serious referral? A name of the guy? Jim Cornette
works with Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Okay, so you try. Why don't you write a letter to? Is it CORNETT?
CORNETTE, yeah.
With an E on the end. And
what's the number I could get a hold of him with?
You just call 411 and ask for Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, they'll direct you to a phone number of the Ohio.
Okay, but you so try that, and also try to get a job from your uncle.
Yeah, and
they have a website.
Yeah.
You're very internet savvy. Why don't you email them and say you're internet savvy and you know everything about wrestling?
It's obwrestling.com.
Oh yeah, Al.
Yeah.
Tell Dave Meltzer the trademark name I give him. If he uses it again, it's a trademark name, so I'll charge him money.
James, trust me, he will never use that name again.
What is that name?
Dynamite Dave.
Trust me, he'll never use that name again. I trust you.
Never use it again.
Never. Somebody else might use it, but not Dave Meltzer. That's for sure.
James?
What?
James, just pay attention to yourself and forget about Dave for a while. He's going to come crawling back and begging you to be on the show, okay?
I'll never be on their show again.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that Al hurt your feelings. He guys are macho. They just are. I don't know what to say.